I'm told that we have quorum, so I am going to go ahead and we will begin the Oklahoma City Arts Commission's November 15th regularly scheduled meeting. Welcome. Before the commission votes on each item, I will ask staff to provide details on each case. I will ask if the applicant has anything to add, and I will also ask if any members of the public wish to speak. If you wish to address the Arts Commission, you will be recognized. You will go to the side podium one at a time and state your name and address for the record and begin your comments. Please limit those comments to no more than 3 minutes. We will now conduct a roll call vote. Every month I say the same thing by accident. We will now conduct a roll call attendance. So Mark, can you conduct that for us?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Bailey.
Present.
Commissioner Kovash.
Present.
Commissioner Salyer. Commissioner Booker.
Here.
Commissioner Chambers. Commissioner Cooper.
Here.
Commissioner Duong. Commissioner Eichmann. Commissioner Hill. Commissioner Loftus.
Here.
Commissioner Massant. Here. Commissioner Ramirez. Commissioner Seward.
Here.
Commissioner Smalling. Present. Commissioner Williams. Madam Chair, that completes the roll call vote. You have quorum.
Thank you. I want to take a second to recognize someone that will be a new addition to our Arts Commission meetings. And this is Zubair Rahman. Apologies if I have not pronounced that correctly. They are representing the Mayor's Committee on Disability Concerns, and they have an interest in bringing about an awareness of the disabled to the community. Committee members are assigned to a border commission like ours or a trust within the city government to attend as an observer. So in the future, they may be present at our meetings. Our first item is item number 2, approval of meeting minutes from the October 18th meeting. I hope everyone has read through the minutes, and if there are no corrections to be brought to our attention, I will entertain a motion in a second. And remember, if you weren't present, we can't vote on that. Do we have quorum to vote on that item based on last month's attendance? Was everybody present at last month's? Who was anybody? You, okay, so we need to skip that item for right now. Okay. We will skip that item, and if we do have quorum later on in the meeting, we will return to it. Moving to item number 3, items for discussion and action. Do we need to table that to next regularly scheduled meeting to vote on that?
We could do what you just said and see if we have any members show up, or we could defer.
Okay, we will evaluate that later in the meeting then. The first item under item 3 is our 2022 Oklahoma City Arts Commission meetings and deadlines. Robbie, can you present this?
Yes, so every December by state law, there's a requirement that the city clerk must post all the the regularly scheduled public meeting dates. And so staff has put together a schedule for next year with both the deadlines and the meeting dates. As you'll notice, there is an asterisk by the January 24th meeting. It's usually the third Monday, but the third Monday in January is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And the other advantage, too, by delaying the Arts Commission for a week, it also allows a delay to the deadline, so it's not right up on the holidays preceding that, so it's better for applicants and artists. And all of the others are the third Monday of the month. And so these have been checked on the schedule and are available, so we're bringing them to you for your approval.
Are there any commissioners or members of the public that wish to speak on this item? If not, I will open the floor for a motion and a...
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion from Commissioner Cooper and a second from Commissioner Seward. Any other questions? Any further discussion? Mark, can you do a roll call vote for this item?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Bailey.
Yes.
Commissioner Kovash.
Yes.
Commissioner Salyer. Yes. Commissioner Booker.
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper.
Yes.
Commissioner Loftus.
Yes.
Commissioner Massant. Yes. Commissioner Smalling. Yes. That completes the vote, Madam Chair. The motion passes.
Thank you. Item 3B, a call to artists for Lower Scissortail Park. This is RFQ-O City-102. 1% for art for Lower Scissortail Park, address of 410 Southwest 10th Street, Ward 6. 3B1 is a withdrawal of advertisement of qualifications. 3B2 is a withdrawal of an offer to contract. Robbie, can you present these items?
Yes. Thank you, Madam Chair. So the Oklahoma City Council approved the RFQ on April 27th. This is a project that is over 25, it's 100 and something thousand, but it's over $25,000. So these announcements are based on our policy and procedures already approved by the Arts Commission, go directly to council for a public announcement, and they're advertised worldwide. And so the RFQ gets announced on the next day after council receives it. The selection committee reviewed and shortlisted submissions on May 19th, and then those shortlisted finalists attended a mandatory site tour and later made presentations on site-specific proposals for the conceptual design. On August 2nd, when the committee met, they determined that the conceptual design reports for Rio Florido by local artist Beatriz Mallorca and international artist Corin Rallstadt, who were collectively proposing as Visual Design Studio LLC. They decided that they best met the criteria, and this came to the Arts Commission, was presented to you on September 20th, and you recommended that to City Council. As staff moves forward and negotiates those agreements to be brought to the City Council, there's a lot of due diligence work that we do. In the case of a team where it's not an existing studio, we seek to verify the relationship of the team members. You know, is one a principal artist? Are they equal team members? Is one a consultant, advisor, vendor to the other? And the other information that we sought, because it's very important to the payment schedule on the contracts, is what is something in writing that reflects the actual cost to the project for the items, the materials that will be used for the project. So in seeking both of those, we came across a situation that we have not seen yet before, where there were irreconcilable differences between the two team members who had never worked together before. One of the team members decided to withdraw from the project, and after letters and phone calls were made requesting the information again, the other team member did not respond. So that's why we're asking you now to go ahead. We'd like to withdraw. We'd like to re-announce, go through the process again, and find it'll be a new concept, new design team, or individual.
Are there any questions from commissioners on this item? Commissioner Kovash.
Will there be any problems with the this team bidding on future projects?
No. They, if they wanted to come back in, I mean, it would depend on what the selection committee thought. You know, the first selection is a blind selection jury. I doubt that these two would, since they have irreconcilable difference, I doubt that they would partner up again without a very clear understanding of what that relationship is. I would suggest that this was probably a really good learning relationship for both parties.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that the one
Yeah.
that we know is not going to be prohibited from bidding in the future.
I mean, each project is, you know, it's selected. We are planning on using the same selection committee, though. They seem to work together well. They have a great understanding of the project area, and most have indicated that they would like to do that.
Robbie, is the process, the selection process, while you're going to keep the same committee, is it starting from scratch?
It is. It's starting with a fresh announcement that Randy is in the process of writing now. You know, through the process, you learn a lot about what you might desire as a city for a site that you didn't know, 6 months ago. And so we, along with the stakeholders, learned a lot about the site, and we'll be able to describe that in a little bit more specific detail from the beginning. And so that's why we're choosing to go ahead and rewrite most of it. And of course, it'll have a new schedule. But we still feel pretty confident that we can bring something to council in December that is the new announcement along with these things, if the Arts Commission recommends it, and still stay on track for an installation late next year. So,
Oh, what is the projected opening of that part of the park?
is that September? The opening of the lower Scissortail Park, is that like September of next year?
We're currently anticipating late August, September.
Okay.
So whatever the art project is, it's not likely that it will be there
We're hoping that it will be.
when it opens.
We're making that our desire in the call to artists, and so we will see if that can happen. We know that the upper Scissortail Park is also on that same trajectory, so that would be kind of exciting to have a lot going on in the park at that time. Mm-hmm. But even with, even if it is not installed by the time the lower park opened, what we found with the upper Scissortail Park is it provides another moment for the public to come back and visit the park. It provides that other media event because it's another big thing happening in this large public park. So it's not the worst thing in the world.
So my understanding is that we can vote on these two items together, or if commissioners do desire, we can separate the two items, the withdrawal of advertisement for qualifications and the withdrawal of offer to contract.
That's correct.
Hearing no concerns about that, I would like to move forward and open the floor for a motion on these items together.
I so move.
Okay.
To vote on both of them as a single item.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion from Commissioner Seward and a second from Commissioner Kovash. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Mark, can you do a roll call vote on this item?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Bailey,
Yes.
Commissioner Kovash,
Yes.
Commissioner Salyer, Commissioner Booker,
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper,
Yes.
Commissioner Loftus,
Yes.
Commissioner Mosat, Commissioner Smalling.
Yes.
That completes the vote, Madam Chair. The motion passes.
I also vote yes.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Seward.
Thank you.
The motion passes.
Item 3C, currently untitled, a two-dimensional painting by David Holland, 1% for art for the interior of the Early Wine Golf Course Clubhouse, located at 11600 South Portland Avenue in Ward 5. Randy, can you present this item for us?
Good afternoon, Ms. Chairwoman and Commissioners. I'm Randy Marks, Public Art Project Manager. So, got a new system here today. Many of you, of course, will immediately recognize the work of David Holland. David was chosen by the selection committee for the $19,000 2D artwork for the new Early Wine Golf Clubhouse, which is currently at the very, very beginning stages of construction. The painting will be installed at the entry hallway on a stone wall. The wall is the back side of a fireplace where the business side of the fireplace opens into the dining room. Now, the image that you're seeing here is not the actual work that is being proposed by the artist, and I'm going to explain why that is the case. So what the selection committee chose was an approach to the work, not the actual work itself. So this project has a long lead time of 14 months. The artist is going to spend the first period of that time visiting the site several times so that he can choose what he called the most picturesque moment on the course to use in his composition for the landscape element, the landscape element of the painting. The skyscape will actually probably be photographed at another time and in another place, and then he'll marry these two images together for exactly what he wants to display for the early wine painting. In the next image that we'll see here, this is an example of his method. So this is a photograph that David took of a live event thunder clouds on the horizon that we're very familiar with here. So he watches for these kinds of events, and then he photographs them. And then in this next image, this is the painting that came from that photograph, and you can see that he enhanced the details and the colors, and so he's going to take that same approach on the painting here. This is the entrance to the clubhouse. So when you walk in those doors, this faces west, when you walk in those doors going to the east, you'll see the back of the fireplace in front of you down a short hallway. David's 5 foot tall by 12 foot wide, large painting. Framed painting will be on that rock wall, so it will have the effect of looking through the wall as a window looking into the golf course. And the painting will be titled after sometime during production when it speaks to him, when the name comes to him, definitely before he prepares the art marker that will be installed with the piece. So with that, we recommend this to you, and I can answer any of your questions.
Any questions from commissioners? Yes, Commissioner Kovash.
Do you know if in the final building, if the painting will be exposed to sun from a window?
The length of the hallway would make that highly unlikely. So I won't say that it can't happen, but it'll be unlikely that it will have any direct sunlight. Also, the glass will be tinted so that even if there is sunlight, it'll be filtered down somewhat. It's a good question, though, and I'll follow up with the architect on that and see what the case may be.
And maybe if it is going to be in sunlight, maybe David could double check and make sure the varnish won't yellow under the sun.
I'll do that. Thank you for the question.
Any other questions? Any questions from members of the public on this item? Hearing none, I would open the floor for a motion. Okay.
Second.
Do we have any staff notes on this item that we need to consider? No, because it's a 1%. Okay. So we have a motion from Commissioner Salyer and a second from Commissioner Cooper. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Mark, can you perform a roll call vote for us?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Bailey,
Yes.
Commissioner Kovash,
Yes.
Commissioner Salyer. Yes. Commissioner Booker,
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper,
Yes.
Commissioner Loftus,
Yes.
Commissioner Mosant, Commissioner Seward,
Yes.
Commissioner Smalling. Yes. Madam Chair, that completes the vote. The motion passes.
Thank you. Item 3D, Moment of Truth, a sculpture by Daniel Moore doing business as the Oxide Studio. 1% for art for the exterior of the Early Line Golf Clubhouse, 11600 South Portland Avenue in Ward 5. Randy, will you also present this item for us?
Thank you again. The Moment of Truth by Daniel Moore is a $25,000 3D exterior sculpture, again chosen for the Early Line Golf Course. So the solid steel work depicts a golfer at the exact moment in a swing at which all is determined. Some of our commissioners will know that point extremely well. Dan made a 1/10 scale model out of steel, as you can see in these images that he presented to the selection committee. And the work itself will be an imposing 10 feet tall by 4 feet wide at the widest point and firmly mounted on a concrete base. The final location for the work has not been decided. There are 3 possibilities in this image and the next 2 images. So this is at the 18th hole, if I remember correctly, just immediately to the back of the facility. Uh-oh. Let's see what happened here. Okay. Here we go. Another location, or in the front at the roundabout. So the artist is going to work with staff, with the design team, and with the Golf Club Pro to figure out what is the location that's going to work best for the art and the facility both for mutual enhancement. And a thanks to Commissioner Moissant, who was our arts commissioner on both this one and the previous project that you saw. Thank you very much. Thank you all, and I will try to answer any questions that you have about Moment of Truth.
Any questions from commissioners? Yes, Commissioner Smalling.
This third location, I would discourage it, because if you want to encourage people to engage with it, get pictures, be around it, that's a dangerous spot.
Okay. Thank you.
Questions, comments? Any members of the public wish to speak on this item? Hearing none, I would open the floor for a motion. Yes, Commissioner Smalling, and a second from Commissioner Moissant. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, let us move forward with a roll call vote. Mark?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Bailey.
Yes.
Commissioner Kovash.
Yes.
Commissioner Salyer. Commissioner Booker.
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper.
Yes.
Commissioner Loftus.
Yes.
Commissioner Moissant. Commissioner Seward.
Yes.
Commissioner Smalling. That completes the vote, Madam Chair. The motion passes.
Thank you. Item 3E, a report on participatory art making for family ties by Nick Bayer. A 1% for art for the MAPS 3 Senior Health and Wellness Center number 2, the Pete White Health and Wellness Center, located at 4021 South Walker Avenue in Ward 4.
Right here?
And we will be hearing directly from Nick. Can you state your name and address for the record?
Yes, my name is Nick Baer, and I live at 4221 Corner Drive, Northeast. And anything else? Are we ready?
That's all. Thank you.
So I created this piece, Family Ties. And Family Ties is basically, it's a community-based art project, and it's at the Pete White Health and Wellness Center number 2. And the major concept for their piece was focusing on family and family connection, and how something like a piece of fabric in the form of a dress, a tie, a blanket, or a quilt can keep family connection alive even with someone who's no longer with us. And we also recognize how fabrics can represent one's culture, one's personality, and also one's individuality. So we wanted to focus on family and family connections because we all have family, right? That's a kind of a universal thing. So it was something that we all really had in common. And it was another way to really get the most engagement out of the members is by having members donate different fabrics that represented something to them or a family member to them and donate those to the project. And then we would take those fabrics, turn them into fabric tiles, and incorporate them into our mosaic. So a great vessel for the mosaic itself was in the form of a tree. And I'm going to try to get to an image where you can see the tree here. So we chose a tree just for the fact that it works structurally for what we were doing, but also has that connection and tie to a family tree. So we have one tree that represents hundreds of different families. And we also recognize that not every family is the same. They all look a little bit different. So we wanted a way to represent that. So sometimes family can be community and it can be friends. So we represented that by, in our tree, we have a community of different creatures that the members help design and select that then inhabit our tree itself. So here you can see our one tree that represents all the different members and their families and our community of creatures that are living together. One of the important things about this particular project is that 70% of this project was completed with membership help. 80% of the project was completed on-site, which I think was another important factor about this project itself. We had over 50 people participate throughout the 1-year period that we worked on this particular project. And I would say we had 30 people who were, I call them frequent flyers, because they were in at least multiple times a week for hours at a time to participate. And I think one of the really unique things about this particular project was, I've worked with a lot of non-traditional students as an educator, and these were what I considered like non-traditional artists. A lot of these people hadn't had art experience until like the last time was when they were a little kid, and that was the last time they got to actually experience and engage in the arts. So this was kind of a new thing for a lot of them to have this opportunity. A lot of them are retired, and this is their first reintroduction into the arts. So there was a lot of fear at the beginning, getting them to overcome some of that. A lot of what we did that I think was successful was, we had a schedule. I was there every day. It was almost like an artist in residence kind of thing, where I was there for a period of 5 days a week for that period of a year almost. And people would slowly just kind of walk by the art room and see what we were doing. And then ever so slowly, people would start to come in, and we would engage them with something small, and then that would build from there. And then slowly they would just keep coming back, and then the next day they'd bring a friend. So we really got a lot of engagement. One of the added bonuses of us being there for so long was the development of the art program at the site. So before I got there, there was an arts room, but the art program itself was almost non-existent. When we started the project, they hired an arts coordinator to help with the project. And with the arts coordinator's help, we were able to generate a lot of energy and enthusiasm towards the arts program. And I'd say today, if you went to visit the center, the arts room is one of the most active areas on the campus itself. So it's either the arts area or the pool. So that's where you're going to find everybody on site. So the mural itself ended up being what we call a hybrid mosaic. So it's part painted mural on the wall, part physical mosaic. The fabric that we ended up using, we created those fabric tiles. That was an epoxy resin that we used to create those individual tiles. And then we paired that with traditional ceramic tile mosaic to come up with our finished piece. And that's really all I have as far as the report itself. But if you guys have any questions about the project or any processes that we went through, yes?
I just want to say something. I happened to be there the night that you had the reception for the people that donated their hours. And you're talking about, I think if I'm right, it was like some of them were 800 hours, some of them were 600 hours, all of that. And the pride that those people had. I mean, the ladies would take me up there, and down here in this, part where the green is, that was her mother's dress from 1957. And they would show me where you worked in a little OU, where somebody else worked in an OSU. And I mean, the pride you felt that day, and they would have their granddaughters there saying, okay, Grandma did this part, and it just, that thing is going to have a longevity long after probably you and I are both around, because the people had such pride in doing it. I thought it was a wonderful project.
Yeah, that was exciting to see the amount of ownership and pride people did have over the work itself. Was pretty wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Nick, I remember you bringing this before us a couple of years ago, and it's so great to see it finished and to have accomplished the goal that you set out, which was really participatory. So thank you for that.
Yeah, it was important to have that participation and to have the amount of participation that we wanted. Part of that that's why that time frame was, originally we were looking at 6 months, and it ended up going a year. But being a local artist, I was able to adapt and make those, to fit the goals of the project itself. So that kind of just worked out that way.
I was part of the jury that selected this project, and I know that we were all real pleased with the idea that they wanted to have something that would be collaborative, but we didn't know really how it work out, that when you made the proposal and told that this is what you wanted to do. So I'm so pleased and excited for the Wellness Center and the community that this project is such a resounding success and has so much meaning to so many people, that is really expanded way beyond its being a piece of public art. It is a part of the fabric of that community.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was impactful when someone did bring in something this is from my husband, who's no longer with us. He passed away 6 months ago. It was good for them to have a little bit of that moment to memorialize them, and then importance for them to have that piece of fabric. And we encased it in the resin, and then we put it up on the wall. I mean, it was just, it meant a lot to them for that to happen. And it means a lot to me too. I mean, when I talk to them, I tell them it's like, this is not mine, this is ours. We did this together. So, and I think that's the way I feel about it. It was definitely a community project all the way through.
Would you recommend that we do more participatory art projects in the future?
I mean, absolutely. I think it takes a certain type of person to be able to handle that kind of community engagement. But I do think the impact that you have with something like that is probably like tenfold versus just some public art that just shows up at some point. So that engagement, again, we've been talking about it, it creates that ownership and it creates that sense of pride in the community. So, and I think just like with the people, they were so impressed with themselves at the end of this project. They're like, I can't believe this is what we made. And I think that just the art appreciation that happens there, and then they're going to look at art with a new light every time they see another piece of public artwork. They understand what goes into making that happen.
Commissioner Smalling?
It's a fantastic piece. Having worked on many different projects with communities, specifically for milestoning, it's such a simple, clean, elegant idea. And the execution of being able to keep the focus for that period of time. And you're absolutely right. It's a specific kind of personality. And I'm sure that you found as you got into it, it put strains financially that weren't anticipated. And so it would be, in order to do this, I would recommend that we sit down and do some kind of case study on it, because it's worth doing and looking at this because it engages the community. But we also have to think about these unexpected costs for longevity. We also have to think about, as things age, how we repair, how we move, how you touch these things, or how we put surfaces. And this is fantastic.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it was a pleasure to get to do it. Part of our difficulties were trying to do community-based stuff during pandemic, so there's those challenges with it as well. But like I said, I think this was a resounding success, and I would 100% do another project like this again.
Well, thank you for your work on this project, but also thank you for coming back to commission and sharing this, because this isn't something that we do often, and it was a new item. So hearing feedback and getting a better understanding of how that process played out is very helpful moving forward with new projects that we may want to open up.
Yep.
So thank you.
Sure.
Appreciate
Thank you.
Okay, we're now to item 4, which is the consent docket, and we only have one item this month.
Could we receive that report? We don't.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
We need to receive that report and vote on it. I would open the floor for a motion to receive this report. Commissioner Seward,
Second.
and a second from Commissioner Cooper. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Mark, can you do a roll call vote for us to receive that report?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Bailey,
Yes.
Commissioner Kovash,
Yes.
Commissioner Salyer, Commissioner Booker,
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper,
Yes.
Commissioner Loftus,
Yes.
Commissioner Mosant, Commissioner Seward, Commissioner Smalling. That completes the vote, Madam Chair. The motion to receive passes.
Thank you. Now to item, sorry, Commissioner Cooper.
Well, I just wanted to give a applause to Nick Baer for his willingness to have taken the time on what was supposed to be a 6-month project, went way longer than that. He lived with the project. his involvement made it happen. And it was so much more than was expected in the project, and I just think that he deserves some applause.
Thank you, Commissioner Cooper. Appreciate that. Item number 4, A, a mural by Dallas Smith for White Spire Energy at 2211 Northwest 39th Street in Ward 2. Robbie, can you present this item?
Yes. So this mural is being proposed at 2211 Northwest 39th Street in Ward 2, and the zoning is C4. And as you may remember, murals are a conditional use in all zoning areas. The only time where we really have to pull them out and review if they're maybe not allowed is in a PUD. So, which staff does every time we bring one to you. So in this case, the owner, the applicant Dallas Smith, had already hired an artist and wanted to proceed before the weather got cold. Even though in the application package itself, it appears to be like kind of a brick rock, something in between their wall from the rendering, we were able to confirm on Google Earth that the wall had already been painted. So we proceeded through our normal approval process where we can recommend it for an event permit to paint early, and a live painting special event permit was issued on October 18th, so the artist could begin. So this is being brought to you after the fact to be able to issue a permanent mural permit under the sign code. And so I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions from commissioners?
Has anybody seen it? Just from the picture, it looks very interesting.
It does.
I have not, but now I might need to drive by. Okay, hearing no further comments or questions, I would open the floor for a motion on this item. So moved. That is Commissioner Salyer with a motion.
Second.
And a second from Commissioner Kovash.
Uh-oh.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. Mark, can you do a roll call vote for us?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Bailey.
Yes.
Commissioner Kovash.
Yes.
Commissioner Salyer. Yes. Commissioner Booker.
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper.
Yes.
Commissioner Loftus.
Yes.
Commissioner Mosaic. Commissioner Seward.
Yes.
That completes the vote, Madam Chair. The motion passes. I'm sorry, Commissioner Smalling. Yes. That completes the vote, Madam Chair. The motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 5, discussion action on reports from committees. The first committee is Commission Advocate. Commissioner Salyer, do you have anything you'd like to report?
Thank you. I do actually have a couple of things I'd like to talk about.
Excellent.
Some of these are retrospective and some of these are forward-looking, but, oh, is my mic on? Is my mic on?
You need to put it in your mouth.
You know, get me out of here and I can't remember what to do anymore. Completely out of practice. So I just wanted to report that on October 25th, Mayor Holt declared the month of October 2021 as Arts and Humanities Month. Both our Arts Commission Chair, Allison Bailey, and our Humanities Director, Caroline Lowry, spoke to the City Council and the Mayor about the importance and value of arts and humanities to our community. So that's always an important event, and I know it was scaled back a little bit in terms of participation because of this thing we're in the middle of, but thank you for sharing how important it is to all of us. Item number 2, as I believe all the commissioners have received an invitation to a breakfast on Wednesday, December 1st at Park House in the Myriad Gardens. The speaker for that event will be Dr. Crompton, and he will be talking about the economic development value of and benefit to the city of parks. And, you know, as we're all aware, much of our art collection is housed either in parks or along trails. and it is a subject that should be of interest to all of us, so I would encourage everybody to attend if that's possible. This Thursday, November 18th, the Paseo Arts Association hosts their annual awards event. It will be at the Skirvin Hilton Hotel. And I think it's important for us to recognize this year's honorees, awardees, and they are Joy Reed Belt, who will be receiving this year's Legacy Award. The 2021 Artist of the Year Award honors our very own activist and rapper, J.B. Williams. We're very proud about that. The Volunteer Service Award will recognize Brian Doherty, who's the Program Director of Parks and Public Spaces, for his time at Oklahoma City Community Foundation. Brian is unbelievable. If anybody ever needs to plant anything, anywhere, Brian is the guy to talk to about it. He's just wonderful. Julie Cohen, who's president and CEO of the Oklahoma Arts Institute, will receive the Michi Susan Award. Bleakley is the recipient of the Emerging Artist Award, and Oklahoma Contemporary is this year's Creative Placemaking honoree. So congratulate each of those folks as you see them, and hope to attend on the 18th. Commissioner Cooper was kind enough to bring to our attention, there's a wonderful article in Western Art and Architecture magazine about Oklahoma City. And it's called Sunny City on the Southern Plains, and talks about all the great art opportunities that we have in the community. So that was really nice to see, and thank you, Commissioner Cooper, for letting us know about that. The 44th Oklahoma Governor's Arts Award was held on November 9th. There were honorees from all over the state recognized for the tremendous work that they do supporting the arts and culture in our state. Oh, I guess we particularly would like to pull out Dr. Bob Blackburn from Oklahoma City as one of those recipients after such an illustrious career at the Oklahoma History Center and others. And then, as I usually do, I just would like to mention what's happening at some of our museums. Oklahoma City Museum of Art has a wonderful exhibit that just opened called For America. These are 200 years of paintings from the National Academy of Design. And I was unaware until I was able to see the exhibit that the National Academy of Design is made up of artist academicians who, once they are elected to be an academician, they are required to donate a painting, a piece of their work to the Academy, and also a self-portrait. And so as you go through this exhibit, the works are so interesting, but to see them juxtaposed with the artist's self-portrait is really fun. And the one that just jumps out in my mind is the Taos artist, Walter Ufer. And it's such a great painting, but his self-portrait is maybe even better. I mean, it's just very fun to see. So that's an exciting exhibit. I don't know if anybody's been to Oklahoma Contemporary yet, but they are doing something, different for our community, which is one of the gems of, one of the reasons they're here. And the exhibit is called Open World Video Games and Contemporary Art. And it's just another really interesting avenue to bring a different medium in front of us all. So do go see that. And I also just wanted to mention, this is an outdoor exhibit also at Oklahoma Contemporary, but the Shekiah Booker exhibit that's called Shaved Portions will be open through the summer of 2022. And it's, if you haven't driven down Broadway, it's this incredible piece that she created using salvaged rubber tires. And it's just a monumental and very exciting piece of artwork. And we hope everybody's had a chance already to get out to see First Americans Museum and perhaps to dine in the restaurant. It's fabulous. So that concludes my report.
Thank you. We have a lot on the agenda to see in Oklahoma City.
There's a lot going on. It's just wonderful.
I will speak on behalf of item 5B, which is the Art and Culture Building Trust Task Force. I am co-chair with Commissioner Chambers. We don't have anything to report, but we are trying to schedule one more meeting before the end of the year, and hopefully we will have something to report at the beginning of next year. The next item is our staff report. Robbie, can you?
So staff has been busy. We have just this week, there are art selections for Fire Station 38, the zoo, and 3 SNI projects. So with that, you'll understand why last month in our Leading for Results reporting, we had 0 installations because we were busy working on announcements for that. They kind of ebb and flow with the times. And then we had 2 private sector completions, and that is our staff report.
Thank you. Item number 7, comments from commission members. Does anyone have a comment that they'd like to add? Yes, Commissioner Loftus.
I think I'm on now. I finally got over to the Crystal Bridges Art Museum in Northwest Arkansas. And as an architect for a long time, I can tell when a building had no budget. And this building clearly had no budget. And it is a fabulous piece of architecture, and the art collection within is beyond fabulous. And I've been told by somebody that I think knows that the original investment in building and collection, and John, you might confirm this or say, no, you're a liar, was $2.5 billion.
That's a number, in excess of 2 billion is what I've heard.
Yeah. And so that was pretty amazing. The second thing was, this morning I finally got around to listening to our mayor's State of the City speech. And I've known our mayor for 10 years, and I was astonished at how well he did, how well he presented the condition of Oklahoma City. And I would urge everybody, if you haven't seen this presentation, to watch it. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Thank you. Any other commission? Yes, Commissioner Seward.
One last exhibition that people might want to see are the new exhibits at the Cowboy Museum. I don't know if you've seen them yet, but they're really well done. The traditional cowboy arts, the great work, small wonders, what pieces are remaining, and then there's a new collection works exhibit up as well that is pretty amazing. A lot of work from artists around the country, from primarily the 20s and 30s. So it's real fascinating. I saw it yesterday.
I think from Small Works, Great Wonders, there might be 3 pieces left unsold. An amazing sale.
Right.
Absolutely incredible.
They still have quite a few
Yeah.
pieces left, but it is you can tell that they sold a lot
They
this year.
sold a lot of work this year.
Yep.
Thank you. Are there any public comments to add to the meeting today? Hearing none, I would remind everyone that the December 20th, 2021 meeting will be our last meeting of this year, and it will be held here in City Council chambers at 4 o'clock. Hearing no further comments, I will adjourn. Thank you.